All right, guys. Florida Panthers, first win. Let's go. Drinking from the cup is allowed officially in the studio.
Cheers to the Panthers. Amazing game.
I'll do a
Absolutely.
mental cheers, and I'll get some great liquid.
All right, now that we're done with our ritual, welcome to our podcast, Netevia sponsored NHL Stanley Cup podcast. Thank you very much for joining us. And with me tonight is Emma Sadowski and Moon, and I'm your host, Vlad Sadowski. So, today we're going to talk about the initial games. We're going to talk about first impressions, first losses, first wins. And of course, you just heard that Florida won an amazing game last night. And we're going to be drinking from this cup, this very cup, every time Florida wins. So every time we drink from the cup, by the way, that would be your chance to win some tickets to the upcoming Florida game at their home arena in Miami.
There's going to be a lot of drinking.
That's going to be a lot of drinking, right? There was definitely a lot of goals last night.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, well, on the topic of that, let's start with Florida, everyone. So, Florida, with their first win of the playoffs, their only game and a first win, that's great. It was a 6-2 win, 3 power play goals, really exciting game. Right off the bat, Florida looked energized, refreshed, ready to go.
So exciting.
Yep, there was a week off because obviously their last game in the regular season was actually last Tuesday, so it's exactly a week. Everyone except for Ekblad, who has a suspension till Saturday, which is game 3, came back. Tkachuk came back. He was on an LTIR, so long-term injured reserve, so he couldn't play in the regular season because of cap issues. But other than that, he came back because there's no cap in the playoffs, as we all know, or hopefully if you didn't know, there's no cap in the playoffs. And yeah, so it was really good night for Florida. Really the incredible part is the shooting percentage. So shooting percentage, for those of you who are still new, it's the amount of shots and versus goals. So it was really, they had 6 goals on 16 shots, which is actually the first time in they went the entire season having more than 20 shots on goal in a game. This time, playoffs, 16 shots, 6 goals, win, great. What are your guys' thoughts?
It's a phenomenal game.
Awesome.
Game, right? Right, Moon?
Really impressive, honestly. They're off to a good start.
They're a great start, and I think that they were on point. It was very nice to see that everybody came out from the injuries, and I think that finally you could see the team that was preparing for these playoffs all year, and they came out very strong, very strong.
Vasilevsky is a great goalie, so it's an incredible, the shooting percentage was 37.5. 37.5 is, unheard of. You maybe get, 10, 5, 15, if you're, lucky.
37 is really, really
37 is, incredible. Yeah. Usually, on, a really good goalie, above a 900 save percentage for a goalie is where you're aiming for. So basically, a goal in every 10 shots is average. Well, it's not average. It's about average. A goal in every 10 shots. So if let's say you put up 30 shots, yeah, you'll be happy would go away with 3 goals. Here, 6 on 16 is holy smokies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like I said, Florida came out very strong.
Yeah.
They were very focused, and they knew where they're going to be able to score the goals. Mm-hmm. Some of them got somewhat lucky, but some of them were power play goals, which Florida all season were not a very strong team to be. They came out and used every opportunity on the power play. So, I mean, 3 power play
Yeah, they
goals.
went 3 for 3.
Yeah, that's an amazing accomplishment for Florida.
Knowing that Tampa Bay actually does have a top 10 penalty kill in the league. So usually, you can get 3 goals on the San Jose Sharks, who are struggling, rebuilding, getting it going. But in the playoffs, Like some might argue
Huge.
that like,
Absolutely
oh,
huge.
the power play stolen the game. Well, it actually didn't, because there were 3 5-on-5 goals. So if you take it down to the 5-on-5 goals, which Tampa had 1 power play goal, it's a still 3-1 win. So even if because you take a goal away from Tampa and you take 3 away from Florida, there's still 3-1. It's still a win. So overall, they beat them on all facets of the game.
I'm very excited about the fact that Florida came out that strong, and I really think that this series is going to be a very promising Florida series. So speaking of that, I mean, we got tickets to the arena. Don't forget, we're gonna have more stuff to give away, and we're gonna have your personal concierge to a game of Florida Panthers versus Tampa at the Florida Panthers Arena in Miami. Listen to the podcast to the very end, subscribe to our channel, and you will be eligible for some of these tickets.
Yeah, and in my opinion, like last note on Florida, in my opinion, the change of the game was the coach's challenge. It didn't work. It honestly, in my opinion, I don't see what the Tampa coach saw there, the coach's challenge, because if you lose it, you get a 2-minute bench minor, and a 2-minute bench minor that Florida capitalized on.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely,
there was,
like I said, I think there was, we could describe Florida game on every level, but there's obviously were Tampa mistakes, but I think that the overall mood for me is that Florida's got great chances to win, which brings us to the next matchups that we would think would be worth it. And Emma, what happened on all the other matchups?
Yeah, so whoever gets out of this first round series of Florida and Tampa meets the fun Maple Leafs or the Ottawa Senators, who, let's just say, had themselves a few games. So the first game, solid by the Leafs, like really solid by the Leafs. 6-2 win. That happened on Sunday. They were ready. Basically the same thing. They did have an empty netter, I think. Do not quote me on that, but there was some goals there. But like really, they pulled out all-star performance. Like their stars were ready,
really
and
good.
the main criticism about Toronto these past few seasons in the postseason is the fact that their stars don't perform. Their stars went out. Marner got a goal. Matthews was there. Nylander was there. Tavares was there, and their goaltender, which in recent years has had issues, Stallars was great. Like
Of course, he's coming off of
Stanley Cup championship.
Stanley Cup championship team. Of course, we prepared for them. I really hate the fact that we might be facing them in the future, but I'm still believing Bob, and I believe Bob is going to carry us out to the absolutely next phase of the Stanley Cups.
Yeah, so that was game 1, which was on Sunday. And then yesterday, which as we are recording this on Wednesday afternoon, so we are going to be discussing Saturdays, Sundays, Mondays, and Tuesdays games. Wednesday will be in our next podcast. And so yesterday's game was a 3-2 OT win for the Leafs. And they had a hero in Domi, and Senators came back. They were down 2-0. They got the 2-1 goal, and they got the 2-2 goal. Everyone was into it. But at the end of the day, just wasn't. They just didn't have that like extra OT push that the Leafs had. Because in reality, you don't lose a series until you lose one at home. Because especially if you have home ice. Because if you win all 4 games on home ice, the series is yours. It's in 7, but no one cares if it's in 7. So at the end of the day, no, you don't lose a series till you lose at home. And the Leafs going to Ottawa up 2-0. I do believe that Ottawa does have a chance of making this 2-2 because they were a strong team and they're a better home team than an away team. What are your thoughts?
I think you're right. I think that in that series, a lot of it is going to be decided in game 3 and 4, and we'll see how Ottawa adapts to the home ice. Yep.
Credit to Omar because he did make a few really good.
I am a big fan, by the way.
Omar, yeah.
I'm a big fan of the goalie. Yeah, Omar is ex-Boston goalie, and I think that Senators did a good trade by getting him there, and I think he's going to still play his part.
Yeah, and final note on the Leafs is I think they're going to be pretty hard to stop. If they win a game in Ottawa, in my opinion, unless the Senators pull out like everything they've got, which has been done, and like last year, Edmonton made it 3-3 in the final. So then 2 years ago, Florida came back from 3-1 down in the series. So it has been done. But in my opinion, if the Leafs get one in Ottawa and they come home game 5, it's going to be on. They're ready to go. They've had one series win in 18 years. Like, that team was almost called cursed in the first round. And everything is ready for them to, like, define whatever they've been going through. So, and it's contract year for a lot of those players. So I really think they're going to get it done, in my opinion. Great. Even though in the last episode I did say that it was going to be Sens in 7.
There's still hope.
I did say it was going to be Sens in 7.
I guess we'll see and live on to watch the game 3 and 4.
Yeah. Moving on to the other side of the East bracket, which is the Carolina Hurricanes and the New Jersey Devils. Those are fun series. It's one-sided, but it's good.
I don't know about the fun series part. Me personally, it's very clear. Carolina is just demolishing New Jersey. They're demolishing them. In my opinion, they're just demolishing them. I see the series not going past 5 games. I see either a 4, probably a 4-1, but maybe a 4-0 for Carolina.
Wow, that's honestly pretty surprising. Well, the thing with New Jersey, they had some really devastating injuries. Like right before the playoffs, their star player, he was knocked out, season-ending injury, and that was just like great. And then
didn't really help them.
Yeah, it clearly did not help them. And now they've got more injuries coming off game 1. One of their top defensemen didn't play, and it was evident because that power play didn't click without him. So I think they're going to have to bring their A game in New Jersey, and if not, it's going to be close to 4-1. Yeah, it's not going. It's going
to be challenging.
It's definitely going to be challenging. The thing is that both goalies are playing like incredibly well. Like Markstrom, yeah, he's given up goals, but they're good goals. Like yeah, I'm gonna applaud you. That was a really good goal. So, and the thing that really kind of killed the Devils' vibe in the last game was that shorthanded goal by Carolina. Jersey was leading the game 1-0, and then Carolina ties it at 1-1, and then shorthanded goal, and you're just sitting there like, yep, that's a dagger.
It's over. All right, moving on.
Moving on. We're going to go to the Caps and Canadiens. So the Caps or Canadiens, they're playing their game 2 tonight, which is Wednesday night. And the first game does go to the Caps, but it's an OT win. It was a 3-2 OT win in Washington, D.C. And the cool part is there was history made. Ovechkin scored his first OT playoff goal of his career, which is really surprising that he doesn't have one before that because he's won a cup. And he played in so many of these games, but somehow he was never the hero in OT.
There's always a first time for everything.
Yeah.
Listen, I think it's very interesting the fact that I was watching the game, right? And the commentator goes, well, we're in the overtime series, and here's Alex Ovechkin on the ice. And by the way, he never scored in the overtime series in the Stanley Cup, blah, 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 blah. The game starts, Ovi scores the goal.
Wow.
And it's like, serious, the history is made like instantly.
Yeah, and the arena goes bonkers. Like, here we go.
And the commentator doesn't know what the commentator doesn't know what to say. Like he was absolutely speechless.
Well, yeah, it's called a commentator.
He says it right there, and it's like, boom, done.
He heard him.
That's right. I think he heard him. That's exactly what it is.
It was really funny. And there's something called like not like a commentator's curse, but like a commentator's thing. It's like the same thing. Like a commentator should never say that a goalie's getting a shutout, which means they didn't let a single goal go past them. And usually if that happens,
the opposite happens.
The opposite happens. It could literally be 5 seconds left, but somehow the other team will manage to get the puck in the net. So there's like a few words that the commentator's like, shut your lips about. Like, this is not happening. Like, let it flow. Like, please. Yeah, no. What's it called? Montreal did come back to tie it. They have some star players. They have some good players. They're really young. So they are actually the youngest team in the NHL playoffs this season.
So your prognosis is undecided.
My prognosis, I want to see game 2. I really want to see game 2. It wasn't a blowout. If it's a blowout, then you're like, maybe we need to regroup. But a 3-2 OT win with the commentator's curse, it's not a blowout.
I would agree. So everybody's watching Ovi's performance. When is it, tonight?
Yes, tonight.
Everybody's watching Ovi's performance tonight. And I guess
we'll discuss
it. We'll discuss it next time.
Yeah, so it's not just about Ovi's performance, it's the entire Caps team. You can't win. It's like Toronto. They have 4 players that they pay above $10 million. How much have they won in the past years? Nothing. So at the same time, yes, he's an incredible player and like written in the history books everywhere, but it has to be a complete team effort, and I think it will be. My projection is Caps win tonight, but at the end of the day, it could always be an upset, and their series really has no trajectory yet because there's no flow. So it's just a starting point. They went up. It's an OT win. So we'll see what happens
I guess
tonight.
we'll see tonight.
Tonight's the night.
Tonight is the night. So moving on to the West, we've got some fun ones over there. So the first we're going to talk about is Colorado and Dallas.
Oh my
Before
God!
I start
that
there,
whole series is absolutely insane.
Insane.
Colorado is so strong in my opinion. So strong. It's like I honestly think that they're unstoppable until the Western Conference Finals. That's my
They're
personal
really good.
opinion.
they're really good. They made some really incredible trades this year. They said even earlier in the year, like the trade deadline isn't till like March. So like everyone's gonna be thinking, oh, who do I want to get? Who do I want to trade away? Till like November, till March. They said in November, we're not happy. We need to go. So they got out. They got 2 goalies. Blackwood made his first NHL playoff start in game 1. He was phenomenal, and like I mean phenomenal. Like that, if not for the 5 goals they scored, he would have been the first star of the night. So he was great. Dallas did make it 1-1. So currently it is a 1-1 series. Dallas scored in game 2 in OT. So it was a 4-3 OT win for Dallas. They did lose the first one at home because Colorado is does not have home ice in this series. So for them to come back home and be even, they're going to have to go get one in Colorado. How likely do you think that's going to be?
Unlikely. In my opinion, it's completely unlikely. I think that, like I said, Colorado is so strong. I see them as a Western Conference final, and anything that's in their way before that is just unfortunately somebody
challenging to defeat them.
Yeah, it's gonna be a beating. It's gonna be a beating.
Who do you think is going to be like the most key player in Colorado?
I think McCannon is always there. Right?
McKinnon in the car. They've got their power play clicks. They've got so many good power play.
Yeah.
And it's
and Blackwood as a goalie is definitely the choice that really pushing Colorado to a different level. That was something that was missing from their game last year.
Yeah, and then the really cool Cinderella story part could be is that tonight, it's not confirmed, but in Game 3, their captain, Landeskog, he could be back for the first time. His last game was actually the Stanley Cup final game winner, like the game that they won the cup in 2022. So it's been 3 years since he's played an NHL game. He played in the AHL on a conditioning stint to get him ready for the playoffs. But if it happens tonight, which honestly I think it will, home crowd, it's going to be electric for them.
Big comeback.
Yeah, he could come back, and it's going to really boost their lineup because even if he slots in on the third line, it gives him so much depth that Dallas, because of injuries, I don't think they're going to be able to keep up.
Interesting. I didn't know that. That's interesting. You see, that's what you learn at a Netevia NHL Stanley Cup podcast. You can't learn these things unless you watch us. So subscribe to our channel and
like.
There you go. Like it. And we're going to make it happen and give you all the scoop, even if you don't know what NHL was before this podcast.
Yeah, and then so now we're going to be moving on to the Kings and Oilers series.
I'm such a big Oiler fan. I'm such a fan of McDavid.
How can you be an Oiler fan?
Kings, I'm sorry.
I don't understand how you can be an Oiler fan. They were an enemy literally 10 months ago. Like, they were enemy number 1.
You have to admire the enemy sometimes. You know, Game 7, they came back from 3-0. And, you know, I always like how McDavid flies. Like, he flies on the ice. Like, he's, like this player just flying. And unfortunately for Team USA in the Four Nations Cup, his overtime win was amazing. Like this guy is something of a next generation type of player that's gonna NHL build around as far as the Stars concerned. I mean, McKinnon is great, and Makar is great from Colorado, and we have Tkachuk in Florida, and a few other people, but he is just next level, next level player.
In my opinion, I can be a fan of players that I'm not a fan of the team. That's what I am. Draisaitl's incredible as well. McDavid's incredible. They play like wow. But in my opinion, I just can't root for the Oilers. Like I can't. It's like the same thing. I'm gonna root for Vegas. No, I'm not gonna root for Vegas. Like they turned to enemy 2 years ago. They're my enemy now. I can root for players on Vegas because they're great players, but I will not root for Vegas as a team.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, no, they've got an interesting game plan in the sense that the game plan is built on speed. Their rush is incredibly hard to defend. They go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and that's how their game is built. But at the same time, they've got a good defense. The only issue is they're missing one of their main defensemen in Ekholm for at least the first series, and that's why the Kings took Game 1. The Kings were up 4-0. The Oilers did come back thanks to McDavid and Draisaitl to make it 5-all. But then the Kings with the dagger, like an absolute dagger, 6-5, 40 seconds left in the third, and it was obviously Adelaide, that arena, Crypto Arena, whatever it was. I think it's Crypto. They went nuts.
Energy is crazy.
They went nuts because everyone.
I'm not getting you tickets here. I'm sending you back to LA.
No,
it's okay.
like
I'm sure.
no, like they were up 4-0. Everyone's like, yeah, let's go, easy, not like easy win, but like good, confident win. And then you could just hear the arena when they got 5-0. It's like, this is so fabulous. And then 6-5 and it goes nuts. And yeah, no goalie stood out by save percentage, but there were good saves on both sides. They were good in the key moments. So like right before that 6-5 goal, Kemper was great, like right before. And it's like that thing that everyone has, like every hockey fan has this like obsession of saying, if you don't score, they're gonna score on you. Like if you hit the post or there was a chance that was like right there and it didn't go, it's going back the other side.
Definitely.
We've got 2 more, which is St. Louis and Winnipeg. Winnipeg is up 2-0 in the series, and that's expected. They're the President's Trophy winners, and they're clicking.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an easy series for Winnipeg. That's my projection. I wouldn't even spend much time on the rivalry there because I don't think there is any. But I guess we'll watch the game 3 and we'll see where that goes for us.
The only thing that I can say is that Hellebuck in the previous years, he was really like everyone's like, yeah, no, he's not a playoff performer because he's probably going to win back-to-back Vezina trophies, which is for the best goalie in the regular season. But when it came to playoffs, it was just messy and it was bad, and the defense, it just didn't work. But now it's going strong. The game 1 was 5-3 Jets. Game 2 was 2-1 Jets. So they can win in a more high-scoring game, and they can win in a little more of a low-scoring game. Blues look good. Yeah, they got a few goals, but they're not good enough to beat the Jets, in my opinion. And then for the final series, we're going to be looking at Vegas and Minnesota. So that series is actually tied at 1. Everyone's like, oh, 4-0 Vegas, 4-0 Vegas. Yeah, no, Minnesota fought back yesterday. They had a great game. Minnesota's going home for games 3 and 4 with a 1-1 series, which is great. They've got a chance. If they win both home games, it's 3-1 going back to Vegas, and anything can happen in Vegas. So game 2 was 5-2 Wild. Game 1 was 4-2 Vegas, and Kaprizov and Boldy had really good games. But Vegas.
I love Kaprizov. Kaprizov is also one of those stars that I feel like for as long as they're going to keep playing in the NHL, they're going to be that next generation player that I was referring to in McDavid earlier. It's one of those
exciting.
It's one of those players that come every generation. This is definitely one of those generational players.
The cool part is both teams showed really good grit and determination. Like both teams wanted it, and both teams wanted it bad, and that's why it's 1-1 because both teams wanted that one game. So on this note, let us know your predictions for the series. Thanks for tuning in, and we're super excited to see you for our next podcast. Peace out.
See you next time.
Peace out.